Hi, this is Allie. Is anybody else here yet? Oh, okay. Hi, is there anybody else on the line, or is it still... Oh, I heard a beep. This is Allie.
Oh, hi, I just joined.
Hi, good. Who am I talking to?
Oh, this
Oh, we just got another.
Yep.
Let's see.
Say it again?
Yeah, oh, who is it?
This is Aaron.
Hi, Erin. Nice to talk with you. It's Allie Cook.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Went to the meeting at Amherst Media a couple of days ago, and I'm thinking about maybe applying for management mentors. I'm interested in starting a kind of makerspace / design center in the Hadley, Northampton area, and I'm just trying to. What I'm mainly working on now is trying to find a couple other partners who are also interested in creating such a space, as well as looking for funding for the purchase of land. So those are the two main activities other than working on a business plan. And basically, I'm where I see that venture mentors coming in as useful is assistance in strategizing as to how to find the right team and to find funding. I kind of feel like finding the right team first, because if I can't find people who are interested, it probably means that I'm going to have a hard time attracting people who are interested in using a space. So that would kind of entail I would need to re-strategize my entire plan. But
Great. So that was a wonderful introduction. Thanks, EJ. So Daniel Nelson is also on the line, but he's at work and he's got to be quiet. It looks like we're slowly adding more people. So Spiro and Jason, have you arrived yet?
Yeah, I arrived. I already submitted my form anyway also, so I'm just kind of listening for fun, just to kind of think more about it, or see how it goes.
I'm sorry, so I couldn't hear you. So so you said you...
Yeah, I submitted already, so just trying to find out more just about what it's about and listening, basically, but
Great.
Should be good.
Great. So, let's see, there's another beep. Is that Spiro?
Yep, that's me.
Awesome. How are you doing today?
Good. Did I miss anything?
Well, you missed some technical difficulties, but I think
Oh,
overall
okay.
we're doing pretty well.
I'm in here too.
All right,
This is
awesome.
Ian.
Oh, hi Ian, how are you doing today?
Good. How about you?
Great. So actually, for the other folks on the line, do you want to just give a quick tweet about PIDX?
Yeah, PIDX is services. We allow people to market their own skills and also outsource jobs to the community.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's get started. So welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Allie. I'm Valley Venture Mentors Program Manager. And what we wanted to just do is give a little bit of a chance for people to get more information about some upcoming programs and to learn a bit about what it is that we do. So Valley Venture Mentors is a nonprofit founded in 2011, and we have two very distinctive programs. Our mentorship program, which has been award-winning, runs 2 times annually, and Spiro and Ian can speak to the experience of being mentorship grads. They just finished their spring cohort last month. And our Accelerator, which is our newest program, and it runs once annually beginning in January. So just as a bird's eye view, if you haven't had a chance to look at any of the materials about the Accelerator, it is, again, a nonprofit accelerator born out of our mentorship program, and we're going to be based out of Springfield. Our Accelerator has been funded by a Fortune 100 company, MassMutual, as well as the Governor's Office. So we've had a lot of support, and we're beginning to contribute more to this entrepreneurial and ecosystem that's developing in the Valley. So what's the point of the Accelerator? Why are we doing this thing? And the real key is that we're educating startups to be investment ready. We're trying to incentivize learning with the help of our sponsors by providing equity-free grants of $50,000. And they're going to be awarded based on the exact program. Oh, we got another beep. Did we get another join? No? Nobody knew? Okay. So just as a quick presentation, why apply to the Accelerator? So as I said, there's this equity-free grant that we're giving, or excuse me, several grants. We have $250,000 in prize money. But every startup is going to be eligible to win at least $2,000 as a stipend for their time in the program. So our training program is going to be pretty rigorous, and it's going to be structured around Lean Launchpad curriculum. And our goal is to really help companies begin to learn a little bit more about the IRL, which is the investment readiness level. So that's something that comes out of actually Lean Launchpad methodology and Steve Blanks, if you're familiar with him. If you're not, the important thing to know about the IRL is that it's an objective standard that angel investors are beginning to use more and more in order to evaluate companies to receive funding. So it's a really useful benchmark that you can hold yourself to as you're progressing towards pitching to investors about how you as a company are ready to be a solvent investment. So there are tons of research that we've already done based around these topics, and a lot of this is on our website, but we're looking predominantly at the 3 leading startup killers. So the first one is product market fit. The second is HR issues. So do you have the right team? How have you assembled your credibility? And the third one is premature scaling. So do we get too big too fast? And so a lot of this curriculum is going to be focused on not just funding, but how you're addressing these 3 premature startup killers in order to make sure that you are solvent. And so the training program is going to be based around all of those different components, and we're going to be providing free office space in downtown Springfield. So, go back in. Okay, so just as a call to action, who are we looking for? So we're looking for 3 main qualities in our companies. We want people that are completely passionate, fire in the belly, absolutely going to put in their 110% to really make sure that their company is a success. But that being said, we don't want people that have an iron will and absolutely no ability to pivot. Coachability is absolutely crucial because if you're going to be able to take your company to the next level, you need to be able to take the right kind of advice about how to pivot. The other piece of this is ambition. So do you have something that you can bring to the largest audience possible? Do you want to scale? Are you figuring out how to scale? We really want to know about how we can help you come to that next level. So again, those 3 qualities are really, really the most crucial components of who we're looking for. So what I'm going to do, that's the short pitch of what we have. I'm going to run through the most common questions that I've been getting, and then after that we can go through anything that you've got next. Sorry, I keep getting little notifications on my end that you can probably see about people coming in. But anyway, so FAQs. So the first one that I get all the time is whether or not people need to live in Springfield in order to be a part of the Accelerator. And the answer to that is absolutely not. We want people to be able to come from a distance, and we're structuring the program in such a way that people can commute from other places. There's going to be a required 2 meetings a month, and of course tons of other programming that we are hoping that entrepreneurs take advantage of, because again, it's going to be structured around the IRL, which they're going to be judged on. So it'd be great if you could be there more often, but the required number of meetings is twice a month. So next, oops, I did the same thing I did when I was teaching. I accidentally skipped a slide. So I get actually a lot of questions about the mentorship program and what its relationship is to the Accelerator. And so one of the first questions that people always ask is, do I have to have gone through the VVM mentorship program to apply to the Accelerator? And the answer to that is no. The second half of that is, can I be in the mentorship program or be a graduate and still apply to the VVM Accelerator? And yes, absolutely. Once you're in the family, we'd love to keep you in the family. Another thing is sort of the caveat to that, do I need to have gone through VVM's programs to be eligible to apply? And absolutely not. We want startups from all over the road. So EJ, even though you're newer to us, we'd love to have you apply. So one of the big sort of caveats to this is, and I think this might be most helpful to EJ because it sounds like he's at a different stage of his company and sort of figuring out what it is that he needs. And this is sort of a crucial question that we've been sort of helping people flesh through, and we've been answering it for ourselves as we've done more speaking and with our community and figuring out exactly the product it is that we're offering. And the major question is, what's the difference between Valley Venture Mentorship and Valley Venture Mentor Accelerator? And how do you pick the right company, or fit based on your company? And mentorship is ultimately about connection, community, and customers. How do startups find the people that they need to get from A to E? How do they scale? How do they find the right partners? How do they learn about testing their theories? How do they find that product market fit? How do they talk to people? So Spiro and Ian can speak to this a little bit better than I can because they're grads of the program and I'm just somebody that's facilitated it for it. But it's really very much about how to sort of evolve a lot of those components of your business plan. The Accelerator is laser beam focused. It's about funding. How do you transition something from paper to a plan that's legible to investors? How are you using the language? How are you taking the steps that people who are going to want to fund you are really going to see as being crucial? So it's about establishing yourself as investment ready. And the last thing that I think is most important to hit is, how do I apply? And when must my application be submitted by? Well, your homework is due on a 6S by 10/10 at 11:59. So a lot of people have a lot of their applications in progress, and the really important thing is just make sure it's not still in progress, that you click submit by next Friday at midnight. So I've done a ton of talking, and I'd like to know, what are your questions? And you can jump in, you can type them, whatever is easier. Did I lose anybody?
No, that was really great. Thank you so much for explaining all of that. That's very helpful.
Great.
Allie, my name is Bill Collins. I actually am a one-person company currently, and a personal chef, but I've got cookbooks and I've got some media stuff going on, and I know exactly where I want to go. I'm just having great difficulty figuring out exactly how to get there. Mm-hmm. And my question is, when I look at the three main things that you're looking for, on the one hand, technically, I don't qualify. I don't have this existing infrastructure of different of staff of people to do the stuff. Right now, I'm doing it all, but an influx of money would help me. Number one, bring in somebody to do a lot of these tasks. To split this up. That I'm just not doing all that well or effectively. Yet, so is something that's in this stage of a company, is there any way that I could be eligible for some of this money? I mean, I'm looking for mentorship anyway, but does that take me out of the running?
So actually, Bill, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. So,
sure.
I think your work sounds super interesting, but the ambition piece I think might be applicable, and I'd like to just know a little bit more about what it is you're doing. When we're talking about ambition, we're talking about the ability to scale. How can you create a product or a business that can enter into many markets and be as wide-reaching as possible? So can you tell me a little bit about what it is you're doing, and maybe I can make a little bit of a suggestion about which program might be the right fit for you right now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, currently, I kind of come under the single umbrella of being a personal chef, but that is kind of a small piece of it. What I'm growing to, because I've done so many cooking classes, I've got 3 books out, and I'm on Mass Appeal every week, so I get the media expertise in. What I see doing it is actually shifting to the whole idea of the go-to chef for home cooks. So helping people, regardless of their cooking skill, beginners on through experienced cooks, become better, more confident cooks. And when you use the word scalable, I see that as not so much I'm sitting down one-on-one with people, which I do as well, but making that a broad, diverse thing, both through media, both through whether it be through regular TV shows or the books or whatnot, a large audiences in person or through videos or the whole range of things. I mean, the world is sitting right there. So that to me, I think, is the answer to your scalable part.
Great. So I think as you're moving away from being the only person who's providing, or you're finding ways to monetize that content, I think you definitely have something that fits under that umbrella. So I would see mentorship as a way to bring you to community and connections and sort of finding the people to help you implement that. And I would see the Accelerator as sort of a vehicle to figure out how you would go about subsidizing it. So how do you write your plan in a way that shows that you are bringing on people in a timely and responsible way? You're not going to take on 10 staff in your first week and be paying the salaries out of your retirement fund. So I think both could be applicable, and I would definitely encourage you to apply, because I think that does sound as though it could really work, so long as you think through those different points.
Okay, no, I appreciate your making that clear. Thank you.
Great. Okay, who's next?
Well, was there any concrete information about how many or how many companies will be receiving funding potentially?
Great. So is that EJ?
No, Jason.
Jason, sorry, Jason.
No problem.
Okay, and I just saw your other question too. Was it coachable, ambitious, or the third one?
So I was just wondering if I'd missed the slide where there was more criteria about, but if it was just those 3 things, that's anyway.
So there's always a legal aspect to this. So there will be terms and conditions that are the final stage of acceptance in terms of application.
Okay.
So as soon as you accept the legal jargon, that'll come via the VVM legal team. That's a criteria. But ultimately, in terms of qualities I think the entrepreneur has, those are really the most important ones, because ultimately team is the fundamental maker or breaker of any business. So in order to answer your other question about funding, we have a minimum of $250,000 in prize money. So that means the top prizes will be of $50,000. There'll also be some $20,000 prizes, but absolutely every single team, and there'll be 30 that are accepted, will get at least $2,000 in funding. So once you're in and you have followed the program, so the sort of caveat to this is you do not get $2,000 upon acceptance. You get $2,000 as you're going through the program and you're meeting the different sort of criterion about participating in the different 2 sessions that you are working through. Yeah. Okay. That answer your question? Okay. And I see one from Dan. So Daniel, I'm gonna read for him because he's listening. Unfortunately, he couldn't talk on the phone because he's in a silent study. So, hi, Allie. Could you describe a typical month and week in the program? So Daniel asked a really great pointed question, and I think it's one that we're evolving right now. So this is our inaugural year, and we are doing a ton of research about how to deliver the most substantive program that we can based around the needs and desires of the incoming cohort. We're going to have a syllabus that will be brought forward as we're doing the interviewing process in terms of like specific dates and what the lesson plans and structures are going to be. As of now, what I can tell you, what we've confirmed, is that we're working around the schedules of the entrepreneurs. So there are going to be training sessions that will be offered throughout the program, and that schedule will be made public sometime in the next few weeks. And it's going to be based around all the things that we talked about with the investment readiness level. So all of the different things that you need to do in terms of like Paul's work on flavors of capital, to the 3 areas that I was talking about, which were the startup killers, premature scaling, HR, product market fit. So those are a lot of the broad themes that we're going to cover. But in terms of what your boot camp as a startup is going to be, what we're going to be doing is taking the 30 teams, since that's kind of an unwieldy number, we're going to be splitting them down into smaller cohorts. And our goal is to have groups of about 10 startups, maybe fewer, that are going to be working together in peer modeled cohorts, so that you're getting support from people who are going through pretty similar things that you are, but also from expert mentors. So from those peer modeled cohorts, those are going to be your 2 required meetings a month. So you're going to come in, you're going to work on your business plan, you're going to be talking about your goals, where you're going, and sort of getting that accountability piece of showing up and really making sure that you're on track and on making progress on the things that you had said were going to happen. So a typical week and month is going to vary in terms of like the different trainings that we're offering, but we know that there's going to be sort of a minimum number of trainings per week that'll be offered. The office, the co-working space, we're barring any terrible things with the locks, it's going to be 24/7 access. We've been learning all about locksmithing in our current co-working space, but luckily we've taken great lessons that we're going to bring into our new space that's opening in January. And I think a lot of the programming is really going to be tied to creating connections within this community of entrepreneurs, because support is ultimately really important. If you are a one-person business and you're working on something, it's not good to be in isolation. You really need that community to help drive forward and create momentum. So Daniel, did that answer your question, or is there anything else that I can get into? I guess the big takeaway in terms of a typical week in the program, that syllabus and that content will be coming forward probably over the next couple weeks, but it's in the process of being finalized. Okay, we got a thank you, so we did it. Okay, who's next? Uh-oh, dead silence.
Well, I can ask a lot of questions. Can you say anything about like the volume of submissions you've had so far, or how many you expect to get?
Well, we are hoping to get as many as possible.
Yep.
This is our first year, so we've done pretty well so far. We're definitely far above the number of applications we've had for our mentorship program. The thing that I kind of can't confirm for you is how many we're actually going to get, because right now we have tons and tons and tons that are in progress that people haven't clicked submit on. We do know from Mass Challenge that about 70% of the applications that are completed come in the last 2 days. So the number we have right now is actually not helpful. We won't know how many we're going to get probably until Thursday of next week. And then hopefully we'll have a coefficient. But it's looking pretty promising. We've had a lot of interest so far, so we're really excited.
Cool. I believe it.
Yeah. Don't let that discourage you from applying. You should definitely throw your hat into the ring.
Oh, I did already. Yeah, so it's fine.
I guess my question is, I'm probably going to go the not-for-profit route. Will your resources be as applicable to not-for-profit, or are you mainly looking for like companies that are looking to like become corporations?
I'm sorry, I don't think I quite understood your question, and I couldn't hear all of it. Do you mind just asking it one more time?
Yeah, sure. Basically, my question is, I'm looking to start a not-for-profit, and would that still be applicable to value mentors, or are you mainly looking for companies that will quote unquote be profitable? And I'm not really looking for investors or things like that, because and I'm not, I don't want to have shares be
Be a part of
like
your,
vested elsewhere.
Great. So that's an awesome question, and yes, because we are a nonprofit, and we want currently in our mentorship program, we have a nonprofit rescue threads, and we hope to have other nonprofits in the accelerators, because you actually are going to be needing funding, though, in the future. You're going to be needing donations, you're going to be needing sponsors. So I think there's a lot of content that would be applicable to you, and I would encourage you to apply, yes.
You might have said this, but so how many like slots are there basically available?
There are 30. There are 30 teams that we're taking.
Basically will the competition be fierce, or like, you know, pretty much whoever really invest their time in the application will get in, or do not know yet.
So the question about applications is really an important one, and I can say as somebody that's done some preliminary reads through, and as somebody that's done a lot of grading across the board. I taught college for a little while, so I've done my share of red pen on paper. I will say this: the more time you spend on your application, it will really show. So thinking through all of the different aspects of your pitch, all of the different aspects of your company, and being as clear and as persuasive and as confident as you can be in each of those answers is by far the best thing you can do in terms of submitting a strong application, because there is competition. We're giving away money, and there's no equity taken, so of course people are interested. And our mentorship program is recognized. So I think all of those things mean that we are getting a lot of applications, but that being said, we're accepting the companies that we think we can help the most, that we also see have really, really amazing ideas that we want to support and that we can support. So I think definitely taking the time, doing a strong application, you will be in great shape. So any other questions? What else can I help with?
I have a question about...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to ask about how early stage a company you are willing to take on.
Sure. Hi, is this Erica?
No, this is not. This is Kira.
Hi, Kira. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for having this info session today. I'm finding it incredibly helpful.
Awesome. So your question is about early stage companies. So my guess is you're asking about your company.
I am.
Okay. It's a stab in the dark. Do you want to tell me a little bit about where you are?
Sure. So I think that where I am right now is we're trying to make a determination about whether or not we're going to house it within an existing company that has been around for several years, or if we're starting a new venture that has not yet been incorporated but would need to have its own legs as a separate entity.
Mm-hmm. So that's a complicated question.
Well, it's not. That's something that we need to determine internally based on what emerges as the decision. But my question was, how would you feel about a company that, as of this moment, is not incorporated?
So that's a really, really great question. And we didn't, as you noticed, in terms of requirements for companies, stage doesn't make the cut. We're talking about investment readiness. So a company can be a concept, and you can sort of be laying the groundwork to go out and get investments as you're working on your product, as you're working on bringing your team together. There are lots of different components that go into that trajectory. My sort of follow-up question to this, though, would be how old is the company it would be folded into? Is it less than 5 years old?
The pre-existing company is 5 years old. The new company would be its own brand new baby.
Great. So my guess is what you could consider doing, and this is just sort of an idea that I would have thinking at this moment, because the company you have is under 5 years old, it's still technically in startup stage. It's getting older, but it's still in the same fold. Scalability is something that we're pointing to as being very important. If this new venture would be part of that company scaling up, I think that would be one way to sort of answer the question about how you would be considered meeting that criterion. But if you decided it was a new company and it was going to be its own venture and you were going to incorporate and you had sort of a timeline and trajectory for that, that also works, and it also lends to your company credibility if you've been a part of this first venture and there's related experience. Does that help?
It does. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay. Awesome. Somebody else had tried to ask a question too, so the floor is yours.
Yeah, can I ask the opposite question? Is there is there a company that's too big, not necessarily in terms of people, but like revenue, volume, things like that?
Sure. So if Bank of America applied, we probably wouldn't take them.
Okay. Okay.
So tell me a little bit more about what you're thinking.
Well, I mean, my company's a couple years old, but it's achieved profitability by a healthy margin. We've got like 4 people. Just trying to think about how that would fit in, or the chances of that.
So you have 4 people. Are you under? How many years old are you?
About 2.
Okay, so you're still very much in startup phase.
So that's really the only determination. It's not like there's a revenue cutoff or anything.
So that would go into terms and conditions, which will be sent out as the final stage of the application. I think that the standards should be pretty close to what Mass Challenges are. So what I'm going to do is this. My email is right on the screen, the home screen here, admin@valleyventurementors.org. If you shoot me a message, what I'll do is I'll check that standard, but it's pretty high. The revenue, I think, it's like between $500,000 and beyond, which I'm guessing with 4 employees, you're not quite there yet. Or are you?
Hopefully. We'll have to look carefully. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No, absolutely. Okay, anyone else?
Allie, who are the judges?
So that's a great question. We haven't released the names yet, but we are using, as I said, the investment readiness level, which is used by angel investors. So our goal with our judges, when we have the panel assembled, the judges are actually going to be investors. So you're going to be evaluated by the same kinds of people that you would be in the real world, so to speak. And the reason that we thought that would be particularly valuable is not just for the winning teams, but also for teams that were still sort of in transition. There will be a learning experience on all different ends. You can get feedback on what you're doing well and what you're not doing well in order to help you in the next phase of your company, in the Accelerator and beyond.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay. Well, I'm happy to stay on the line if anybody has any other questions. My email, I put it up in case you had any questions. You can feel free to be in touch. It's Allie, and I really appreciate your time today. We really look forward to having your applications. Next Friday, we're going to be having an application party, so you can come to the office and work on your application with the staff. All the information about that is on our Eventbrite page and on our website. But if there are any questions, again, I'm happy to answer them. If not, I'm really glad to have been able to join you, and thank you so much for your interest. We can't wait to have your applications.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Allie.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Anyone left? Just me? Uh-oh. Bye.